Scott just made the point.
Jefferson used to be a lot more secure, not just in our...
After decades of finger-wagging and posturing from Democrats about youth and diversity, we have arrived at the fifth presidential race of the 21st century with a tale of two outcomes. Just this week, Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal announced he is forming an exploratory committee for 2016. Should he enter the race as expected, he would become the youngest person in the race, eclipsing 43-year-old Marco Rubio by a month. It would also add the son of Indian immigrants to a field that already has two sons of Cuban immigrants and a woman. Heck, even Jeb Bush, the Republican old guard establishment favorite, is married to a native of Mexico and is fluent in Spanish himself. On the other side of the aisle are two white grandparents. How old are these grandparents? Well, if Jindal and Rubio combine their ages, they would only be 13 years older than Bernie Sanders, for a little perspective. Welcome to Trifecta, everyone. I'm Stephen Cruiser, filling in for my partner on the rundown, Scott Ott. Joining me are two American citizens who are also younger than the Democratic presidential candidates, your Trifecta regulars, Stephen Green and Bill Whittle. Gentlemen, it would seem that at the moment, Republicans have somehow managed to beat the Democrats at their own game, despite playing it by a very loose set of rules, if at all. The press, however, is still largely ignoring this. Recently, the New York Times ran a profile that ostensibly was about Marco Rubio's compelling immigrant story, yet the headline and first paragraph were about the GOP being old and white. In another instance of narrative crafting, MSNBC correspondent Casey Hunt pressed Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn on why there aren't more female GOP candidates in 2016. Both parties have the same number of women running, by the way, but you won't hear any Democrats being asked that question. I'll go to you first, Steve. Should this glaring difference be pointed out as much as possible? I mean, would a concerted pushback by the Republican Party and its candidates to the old white guy narrative be the cornerstone of maybe a more organic approach to reaching out to minorities and women voters? Or do they run the risk of sounding too much like they're playing the same cheap identity politics game that obviously isn't working well for the Democrat candidate pool?
Oh, yeah, they've got to keep the war on women narrative going. They'll try anything. Party of youth. You know, I did the math on Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden a couple of years ago, and if you take the ages they'll be in 2016, add them together and subtract them from 2016, you get 18, I think 72, or the second term of Ulysses S. Grant as president. I mean, that's going back there. Now, Bernie Sanders, he's older than Biden. So I don't know. You're maybe going back to Lincoln by adding the two of them together. It's just it's absurd. That's the party of youth. And I look at this GOP field, and you've got guys. You know, I just turned 46 a couple of weeks ago, and you've got guys like Rubio and Cruz and Jindal. We're talking about guys who have been senators, who have been governors, who have done things with their life. They're running for president now, and they're younger than I am. What the hell have I been doing with my life? 46 years, I still haven't held office. I haven't run for president. I haven't done any of this stuff. So this is an exciting time. I'm not a registered Republican. I'm a registered independent. I'm going to stay that way. But it's an exciting time to be on the right because you're looking at these guys and gal, in Carly Fiorina's case, who have really done things, who really are youthful. And you think, you know what? Even if we don't win in 2016, this is a bright future. This is a young party. It's exciting.
It's quite a bench, and we've all been saying that for a long time, and it is an exciting time. Bill, despite that being exciting, I've recently taken up residence as the curmudgeon-in-chief on Pessimist Island, making sacrifices to the volcano gods to bring a meteor strike to save the United States. I'm going to give you a chance to make me some rose-colored glasses here before another goat gets tossed into the fire. Should I see this as a golden moment for conservatives to make the case for political focus on egalitarian opportunity rather than egalitarian outcomes? Or has the entitlement mentality managed to get a stranglehold on too many young Americans, especially the youthful Americans?
Could you repeat the question? Just kidding. Before I answer that spectacular sterling question for you, Steve, I just want to make sure there's no confusion about my answer. And my real answer is go with the meteor. I'm betting on the meteor and a meteorite. And anybody who's not betting on the meteorite is playing the chump game. However, we can play the chump game for a little while. You know, the beautiful thing about the age thing is very simple, and that is that it is not controllable by the media. No matter how hard they try, they can't do anything about that. They can report what they want to report. They can slant news stories. They can slant headlines. You pointed out a great one. Why is the Republican Party so old? I don't know. Ask the Democrats. They're the ones running the octogenarians. The end of that tweet that you showed, the GOP is the party of the next person in line getting the nomination. Oh, really? Really? We're the party of having somebody waiting their turn in the wings? Is that right? Well, you're going to have to explain to us how that works, I'm sure. But the beautiful thing about the age thing, Steve, is that you can't cover it, you can't spin it. They'll try to spin it, they can spin it all they want to, but when the debates happen, they're going to see young people with different colors on one team, and they're going to see old white people on the other team, and for once it's going to be our team with the young people in different colors, and you talk about bench depth, buddy, and that's it. You know, you can go into a season thinking, well, you know, we're looking pretty good, but we're looking real good downstream, and they're not. I think the main important thing about this is can we help this message? I wouldn't expect the Republican National Committee to know how to open a jackknife, so it's not going to be up to them. But if it were up to us to tell the RNC how to package this, you might want to come up with pithy phrases like, you know, Bernie Sanders is old enough to remember when communists actually murdered hundreds of million people instead of kept them into regulatory slavery, that kind of thing. You know, let's ask, we could ask Hillary Clinton how she felt when World War II ended. Or really, we could probably ask her how she felt when the Civil War ended. You know, it's wide open. And a little bit of sass would do us some good, because the nice thing about this is it actually does work. The thing we have to learn how to do is to say this: lean forward, move forward progressivism. No, it's new, we're going to go forward, forward, forward. This idea is 150 years old. This incarnation of it is 150 years old. It's a tired old idea with tired old results, promoted by tired old people who want the same tired old thing, which is to tell other people what to do and be paid for it and get to fly in jets and go and golf while they're doing it.
You just inspired me, especially about Hillary.
Yeah.
You know, today Secretary Clinton is wearing a Chairman Mao jacket that she admired on the original chairman back as a young girl.
See how easy it is?
The stuff just writes itself. You know, as a conservative who came of political age in the Reagan era, I've been listening to the Democrats call Republicans old, white, and out of touch since the first time I voted. The Democrats are also fond of saying that leadership should better reflect the ethnic and racial makeup of communities. If that's the case, it's a stunning failure on their parts to have such overwhelming minority support and be looking at a candidate pool that's whiter than Sweden under a blanket of snow. The contrast on the GOP side is a direct result of not doing the pandering that the party's stupid postmortem after 2012 suggested it do. America is a melting pot. Sometimes the flame under that melting pot needs to be turned up to facilitate faster melting. That flame is not fueled by the federal government, however. It is fueled by freedom and opportunity. Both of those would seem to be an easy sell to the electorate. Now is the time for a strong conservative candidate to help rebrand the Republicans as the party of freedom and opportunity. Or they can nominate Jeb Bush. Thanks to Bill and Steve for letting me sit in today, and for everyone here at PJTV, thank you all for watching.